Langers guides us to a win with the narrowest of margins, yet it kind of feels like a loss. This is the Sash, definitely not the official podcast of the Essendon Football Club. I am your host, Rob, here with you as always, and joining me in Castaway Studios is Ryan. Hello, mate.
Hey, Rob. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm calm, I think, but also I was very stressed on Saturday, and I've come out of the game and I'm very happy that we won because it would have been a real embarrassment if we lost. But considering the opposition and where they've been this year, a 1 point win kind of feels like a loss in a weird way.
Yeah. Really hard one to sum up. I was almost emotionless during the game, even when they got up. I just started laughing, just like a little, just because the club sucked us back in. And I tell myself every year, don't get sucked back in. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
I got sucked in this year. That was fairly average.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, we played one good quarter and we almost put them away in that quarter, but then to their credit, they clawed their way back. And yeah, we definitely deserved the win, but if they also had one, I've also said they probably had deserved it as well. It was that kind of game.
Yeah, we just looked very lackluster. Don't know if we're burnt out. It feels like we've been burnt out for the last 2 to 3 games, but with that opposition, we should have been. We've played them twice and we've beaten them by 51 points combined.
Yeah.
Charlie Curnow's kicked 19 goals against them this year. It's a disgrace. But as you said, we got the 4 points. I don't know how important that's going to mean because at the moment, my ladder predictor has us going 9 and 11th. So I don't have us, unless we beat Collingwood, which I didn't. But yeah, I just don't know if we're going to be playing finals football.
Doesn't seem like it the way that we're playing. And, we called it last week as we did our little funeral episode and we sort of said that we're done. To some people didn't like that and said, no, we're not done yet. But I mean, looking at the game on Saturday, it certainly felt like we were. And we were, 1 point or 2 points really going the other way and it would be over.
Yeah. Well, it's so close in those positions that I probably personally would have thought that maybe it was too early. But with the way we played on Saturday and also our percentage, that was our opportunity to come out and boost that percentage. If I was Brad, I would have been like, boys, let's talk about it. Writing's on the wall, finals. We don't need to just beat this team. We need to absolutely flog them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I was expecting us to come out and win by 70, 80.
I think everyone was. And I think that's why a lot of fans were disappointed, even though that we won, is because the expectation was that we would have a comfortable win, at least 30, 40 points plus. And the bookies, predicted the same thing. And that just wasn't the game. And we were very lackluster. And, in some of those dying stages, there was, vision of Merritt and he was, barking at everyone to kind of lift. And it just didn't seem like there was that full team lift and energy that we've seen in those bigger wins earlier in the season.
It makes you sort of think Sam Draper, since he has been out, it's been horrible. Is he part of that? Or is it just the other players that are missing? I don't know. It's the way that I just keep bringing it back to the Adelaide game. The way we played Adelaide was unbelievable. Yeah. Loved it. Really got me up and about. We ended up 5th on the ladder after that. I thought, here we go. We've, necked up. Adelaide, really good side.
We were talking top 4 that Monday. That's how...
Yeah, we weren't seriously talking about top 4. But it was looking definitely like 5, 6. Now it's looking like 13, 14, maybe.
13, 14, yeah, exactly. We've gone from home final to, phantom draft guide is what I've been saying.
And I don't know how many listeners are out there thinking the way that I think.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if we're not going to make the 8, I want to finish, 14, 15. And I think that's why I was laughing when they kicked that goal. Because, look, if we're not going to make it, I want pick 5 or 6. I don't want pick 11, 12.
Yeah. I mean, look, we can only really... we'd have... to fall below Fremantle would be pretty crazy. Gold Coast can obviously go above us, as can Richmond. So I think 14th is the floor. I don't think we go any lower than 14th if we were to lose, all 3 of the last games or 2 of 3 or 1 of 3. Like, I don't think you go any lower than that.
But if we didn't win that game, we'd be, around Gold Coast at the moment, around 14.
Yeah, we'd be 13.
Crazy to think that Gold Coast are potentially going to finish higher than us, and their coach got sacked a few weeks ago.
We're really digressing from the run sheet, but who have they got in the last couple of games?
Gold Coast?
Sydney, and who else? Sydney's a loss. They won't win that. Who else have they got?
I don't even know how to use this thing.
Getting real. This is real Thursday areas. Carlton, not a gimme. It is up there, though, so they might win that. And then last game, they've got North. They could beat North and beat Carlton, potentially.
Nah, doubtful.
Anyway, but
let's get back to it.
Back to the game. Let's go into some positives, because we did win the game despite the feeling in the air. And I think we need to give Kyle Langford the shout out that he deserves.
Most definitely.
He started the season playing in defence. He's currently kicked 45 goals for the year, which is more than the following players: Charlie Cameron, Luke Bruce, Ben King, Aaron Norton, and Tom Papley. He's had 18 goal assists on top of that. If anyone said that in round 1, that this is the year he was going to have, everyone said you were crazy. But
100%.
Credit to the man. Huge year. And, this could be...
and a lot of all-Australian chat starting to pop up.
There's a bit of that. Look,
I think those goal assists are going to come in handy as well.
Yeah, look, I like him for the squad. I think he's a very good chance to get named in the 40 when it gets cut down to the 22 or 23.
Might get pushed out by a midfielder.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the way that it goes. I think he might get squeezed out there. But huge year. Well done.
Let's get back to him. His goal kicking style, it's perfect. He's classy at the moment. He's showing class. The way he moves, he positions. He times his leads really well. Yep. I was watching at home. I didn't go to the game, and they replayed a couple of his runs, and geez, he timed them to perfection.
Yeah, and like Jason Dunstall was one of the commentators in the game, and he was just going on about how simple and perfect is just the way that he goes about it.
He only takes like 8 steps.
Yeah.
Dead straight.
Exactly. And that's as high praise as it can come for a forward kicking goals.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just does it simple. And like it reminds me of the forwards that, we watched growing up, through the, 90s and early 2000s. It was just a simple, you run to space, you hope they put it in the right position, and then you go back and do the job. Instead, we've got these guys around the league who won't kick drop punts, and they want to snap everything around the corner. Your Harry Mackay's and the like. And Kyle's just like, no. There's no fancy tricks. Not fancy tricks. I'm just going to go back, kick straight, and if it was after the siren, do or die game, and you want anyone to be taking the shot from inside 50, it's probably Kyle at the moment.
It's pretty crazy to think that we had Peter last year. He finished, top 4?
4 or 5 maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and then now we've got Kyle who's had an unbelievable season in front of goal. It just really makes you think that if we can get a key position forward, what that would even do to enhance Kyle's game. But this season's done, and we'll focus on the other positives. What else did you have?
Yeah, I think Nick Hine deserves a shout out.
Good game.
Best game that he's played for a while.
For the year, definitely.
Yeah, it was 2021 Nick Hine.
Yep.
It was the Hind using the weapons that he has, which is the run and carry, the burst from halfback, and
he was hitting his kicks as well.
And he was hitting his kicks. So that's always been his thing, is that he takes on a hard kick. Sometimes he just completely blows up in running too fast, and he'll miss the ball, or he'll shank it, and there'll be a turnover, and the other team will score a goal. And we know that can happen. But he goes for the kicks, and when he hits them, it looks really good.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. Another one of our shining lights. Very few shining lights. But look, who knows? It could have been the fact that West Coast were the opposition, and they let him open it up and go for a run. But no, credit to Hindy. What's Hindy's contract situation? Is he?
Oh, I don't know. Let's have a look. I was going to ask you this question: if everyone's fit and available, is Nick Hine your best 22 at the moment?
No.
Okay.
And
why not?
I sort of did a little bit of a a backline lineup for 2024 the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I've included Ben Mackay in there.
Okay. Hindy's contracted next year.
So I wouldn't have him in my starting 22, I don't think, for next year.
Right.
So I've got McGrath, Mackay, then Laverde, then Ridley,
Redman,
BZT, and Redman.
Right. Okay. So you're binning Hind and Kelly.
Definitely binning Kelly. Kelly's entered my absolute.
Yeah, we'll get to him in the negatives because I'm very undecided with what's going on there, and I know there was a lot of talk on social media about it. And we spoke about it last week that they'll up the ground roll. But let's get back to Hindy. Yep. So you don't see him as a best 22 player right now?
Not at the moment. That's including with Mackay.
Right.
But yeah.
Mackay, who doesn't look very good either.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't. But in terms of size-wise.
He ruined Harrison Petty's season, though. He was like, laid the tackle that.
Does that make you happy or not happy?
I mean, I don't know.
I think you were trying to make that a positive.
Made it a positive, yeah. Like he stuck a dagger in the D's, but also like if I'm looking at some other teams who could win the flag, I'm like, well, I'd rather Melbourne over Collingwood. So
that's exactly where I'm at.
Maybe I want Petty to play. I don't know.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't even know why I'm on this show. I know absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but look,
is Hind in your best 22?
It's hard. He's always been, and I think I said this at the start of the year, like he's always been in that kind of 22 to like 25 range. Like I love the run and carry that you get from him, but I also know that in some games when the opposition may have a very potent small forward line, he might not be the best player for that.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like his pressure's been that good.
I do think. I know we're talking best 22, but I could have him best 23. I think he's our best sub.
He's the best.
He's our best sub.
Okay. That's fair. I'll give you number 23 for
him.
Done. But great game. Well deserved. It's good to see him playing good footy because there was a period last year and even early this year where I was just like, I really don't know where he's heading. But it's good to see him playing well. We do love Hindy. I think Darcy Parish deserves a shout out, despite the fact that he did turn it over a bit, but that's just part of what you come to expect with him. His work in the contest and the dying stages won us that game. Simple as that.
He had 9 clearances.
Yeah.
17 contested possessions.
Yeah.
It's a really good game from Darce. Only 2 tackles, considering he's around the contest majority of the day. A little bit more would have been nice, but no, I think Darce. I mean, it's how many games he missed a fair chunk of football.
6-7 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, so I feel like he's still trying to find his ground at the moment. It's interesting that he hasn't re-signed yet.
Yeah.
Could be a possibility that he might leave.
Yeah, I really don't know. Like, there hasn't been much word on, other clubs coming for him, a Geelong or a St Kilda, whoever it may be.
Yeah.
Like, they had, like with Redmond, where it was like articles about Adelaide.
Yeah.
But then again, that could have just been total bullshit anyway. So it is hard to read into, he hasn't committed yet. The whispers are that he probably will. But then, when he's turning it over and the whole crowd.
Six clangers and 60% accuracy.
But that happens though. But
it happens. But I said it a few weeks ago. We just need to make sure that Darcy gets into the positions where he's most influential, and that's where he is. And that's go in and get the football out.
That's what he did.
We just necessarily don't want him, running around the ground and getting the kick on the wing or getting the kick at halfback. That when he needs to make that next kick, because it's not really efficient. Even his kicking inside 50 is somewhat not ideal at the moment. So
I mean, the one, there was one that irritated me. I think it was in the second quarter where he kind of got it out the back of the stoppage and then went to hit someone in the middle of the ground and just kicked it straight to one of the West Coast players. It stuff like that is what brings you down. But, he is still our best contested player and best clearance player.
Yep.
And that was part of why he won us the game. So, yeah, who knows?
And a good goal.
Great goal. And maybe the people groaning and moaning when he does turn it over at the ground might sway him to not leave, or maybe he doesn't notice that and kicks on. But
I think about that.
I've heard it the last few games at Marvel.
It's all Mert.
It's everyone though. It's everyone. Yeah. But you can hear it around the ground. You see this, and it's like, if I'm sitting there thinking about re-signing and I feel like my supporters don't want me there.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to sway me a little bit.
But the is a natural, reaction to someone having a kick or a clang. It doesn't just happen to Darcy. Yeah, no. It's not just Darcy. Like,
it's not Coach Me Harder, Brady,
if someone else is coming out of the back line and has a man, BZT is still getting an and even Zach Merritt's still getting an when sometimes he misses the target. So it's just a natural thing. Like when you kick a goal and you celebrate. So.
Yeah. They do sound louder though with him, but maybe that's just a bit of recency bias.
As I said, that's just Mert.
That's just Mert. that is the problem. Yeah, I do forget when I sit with Mert, I just hear things all the time. Anyway, but yeah, 7 coaches votes from Parish, so he definitely got recognised for his great work.
Nice. BZT?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Really good.
Really good. And I really want him to stay.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. And that's what went into me making my ultimate.
Your ultimate 6.
Yeah, my ultimate 6 in the back line.
Yeah.
As a defender myself.
Right.
I think he needs to stay. There's so much potential in him. We've invested far too much time. Ben Mackay, that's the one. Yeah. Him coming and taking that much larger forward is just going to open up his game even more, to be honest. I think that's where he's going to get that next bit of growth in terms of his game. So, BZT, if you're listening, please stay.
Please stay.
Please stay.
Yeah. What I really liked about it was that in the reverse game over there earlier in the season, Allen
had a field day.
Totally had the better of him. And look, I think West Coast were a bit less Allen focused on the weekend, but BZT beat him this time. Like there was a few one-on-ones where it was them one-on-one together, and BZT won it totally fair and square, and really outplayed them. And like watching back this morning, like the commentators were like, "Oh wow, terrific mark! Like great body work. Look at what he's doing there." And I'm like, he's just keeps getting better. And we do have a lot of scars from those Hawkins games and games like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But, like the kid is just growing.
Another preseason under him. I'm excited. So Brandon, stay.
Yeah,
can't believe how long this goods list is going for.
I know.
By the way,
huge game saving mark as well at the end there. Someone on our Discord photoshopped his face onto the Leo Barry mark, which I thought was pretty funny. So
wow.
Shout out to whoever made that one.
That's real enough.
That was really, really good. Zach Merritt probably deserves a shout out as well. Just usual.
Always.
Elite
standard.
Kicking, probably the best pressure player for the game, which is come to expect. And, I did like it when I can't remember who he got holding the ball, but he got someone holding the ball.
He was dead in the center of the ground.
And he just got up and he just starts barking at his teammates.
Didn't even get up. He was barking on his knees.
Yeah. And that's what I want to see.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to say like, all right, cool, he's my free. Like on him being like, no, like lift, this isn't good enough.
Shame it didn't work, but that's what you want to see from your leader.
Yeah. What did you make of
8 tackles as well, by the way?
Exactly. Best pressure player on the ground for us. What did you make of Elijah Tsatas' first game?
Yeah, Lige. Really thought we we're going to do a Darcy Parish all over again, or I think we are. We're just playing him out of position. He's just a natural on-baller in the guts. We just got to pop him in there. I would have liked to have seen him get an opportunity, but we didn't really get in a comfortable spot where we could actually take the risk.
No.
I thought he was good. Slight little bit of nerves, but that's natural. He got a fair bit of praise about his kicking on the commentary, but I still think his kicking action looks slightly lanky.
Right.
A bit slow.
Could learn from Kyle, maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I liked what I saw.
Yeah. Slow build into the game. I think didn't adjust to the speed that well, but then from that second half onwards, he really kind of worked his way into it. And I like the fact that he took it on and tried to bite off some difficult kicks. Like there was the mark inside 50 where I was like, just go back and have the shot, son. But
he should have taken the shot there, but he did also hit, was it Peter for that one?
Might have been, yeah.
Yeah. I think there were a few marks that were dropped or spoilt that came from Lige, but I just feel like we talk about he was struggling with the pace of the game, but he's an inside midfielder and we've put him at half forward, which is by far the hardest position to play in the game, and especially at the AFL level.
Yeah,
so
it is hard. But he might not be ready to play in the guts at that level just yet.
Chuck him in.
Oh, who knows? Maybe we'll get a chance this week. But look, like what I say, definitely plenty to work with there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Any more goods that I haven't written down that you want to flag?
To be honest, I sort of blacked out the game. Just forgot about the whole thing.
Self-induced blackout.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. All right. Should we get into some bads?
Just everything.
I don't know.
Just the effort.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the effort. Just not being there. Everyone looks burnt out. If they are, then what's going on? I don't know. What was the game we went to 2 weeks ago? The Western Bulldogs game. After halfway through the second quarter, it was really noticeable at the game. And on the TV on Saturday was noticeable again. So I think effort, F. Bin it. Horrible.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest bad is the effort.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was that dogged desire.
You would have thought we were 17th on the ladder.
Yeah, but like there were times there in the game, particularly when West Coast were trying to possess the ball a bit, and they were trying to, they were kind of giving us a bit of our medicine to what we've done to a few teams. And there just didn't seem that desire to just close someone down for a tackle. And there was a lot of corralling going along, a lot of like hands in the air, a lot of sideways steps, a bit of basketball, netball. Yeah, I'll just kind of block you, but not really do anything. And then when it did come down to that, there were a lot of times where guys just weren't running back hard enough. They were just a step off the pace. And I'm sort of like, is this a commitment thing? Is this just some young blokes who are a bit burnt out at the end of the year? Like, are there injury issues we don't know about? Like, what is causing this thing? But since the bye, since we're trying to win the ball back higher up the ground, and we're trying, we are going back to a bit more of that rut and press.
Don't say it.
Not quite as exaggerated as it probably was then, but
it looks like it though.
Yeah, and like it makes sense why they're trying to do it. It is the better way to play, because if you can win the ball back in forward 50, that's the best result. If you can't win it there, you want to win the middle of the ground, and then at worst you win it back in your deep 50. And we've gone, all right, we're not going to have the extra men back to just try and win it back there. We're going to try and win it in the middle. But when it goes over those guys, like you just see guys not running back hard enough, a bit lost. There's a bit of finger pointing going on. And yeah, it's frustrating to watch. And I know this is part of the long-term goal because we need to develop to be able to do this. But people aren't buying into it just yet. And if not, they're just not up to it at this point.
We still have a very young list. I think we keep forgetting that. I think we put a fair bit of pressure on the boys. There's not much leadership out there, apart from Dice and Zach and one or two extra players. So, I mean, Ridley out as well. So, just all bad.
And that's it. Like, when like Richmond were doing that pressure game, you had these role players who they just excelled at doing that. Like, that was what they were there first, like your Lamberts, your Butlers, your Riolis. Like, yeah, right, they were playing half forward, small forward role, but their job was to tackle. That's your number one thing there for. And we really just didn't get much forward pressure out of our smalls. Like, at 3/4 time, Guelphy hadn't laid a tackle.
Yeah, Guelph was really quiet.
Menzies laid one at the start and then didn't for the next 3 quarters. Guelph obviously ends up with 2 in the end. But you're looking at those two guys, it's like you're meant to be our 2 best pressure players, especially inside forward 50 or around the 50 arc. And there just wasn't any there. And you're not gonna be able to play a front half game, a pin them in game if you don't have forward pressure. And that was why West Coast, who, let's face it, are a trash team this season.
Horrible.
Walking it at one end of the ground to the other. Like, West Coast probably haven't gone that many times coast to coast this whole season. They've probably done it 10 times against us, which is equal their whole tally. You know what I mean?
Oh, good old Essendon. I can see delivery inside 50s here, but you wouldn't have had to have changed that all year. Do we even need to talk about it? It's the Peter-centric kicking that's doing my head in.
Did you watch Brad's presser?
No, I haven't watched it the last 3 weeks.
He was very defensive about this. So one of the I can't recall.
Oh, about kicking to Peter or the inside
delivery inside 50.
Okay.
So someone, like, I can't remember which journalist it was, but someone sort of said, "Oh, look, it looked like your delivery inside 50 wasn't that good this week. At times you're just kind of kicking it long, kicking it high. Do you think there's something in that?" And he kind of like basically rebutted, being like, "Oh, we're getting in there, and Langford kicked 4 last week and Kia kicked 5s, or vice versa, whatever it was." Yeah. And I don't know, like, I can cop it if he's just trying to like deflect off the journo, but surely you're discussing that because I don't know what it is.
It's
like
a big issue for us.
But like, think about the way that we would deliver to Kyle. Langford will call for in the league and they'll actually put it in front of him.
Yeah.
Whereas for some reason with Peter, like I understand that his highest point reach is amazing, but like we're not putting it in an area that really favours him at times.
And there's far too many defenders already there.
Yeah.
Waiting for Peter.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, just go stand in Peter Wright, get in his drop zone. That's the go-to.
Yeah.
And then that's what's opening it up for Kyle. So that's why we need another key forward, a bigger key forward who can then really, lead in the other direction. So just so frustrating.
It is frustrating because we won the inside 50 count against the Dogs and lost.
Yep.
Or maybe it was Sydney. It was one of the two. No, maybe it was Sydney. No, it was equal with the Dogs and we lost to Sydney. I apologize. I'm getting my stats the wrong way. And, you're just not capitalising. And it's just like a trickle-down effect, whereas if you deliver inside forward 50s crap, it's going to make it harder for the pressure players because they might just be in a bad position. And then it means that it's hard to defend the transition and then it goes back the other end and they score a goal. And that's kind of it. And he did talk about that. And I think it also did sort of lean into a bit of a work rate thing where he goes, our players need to think that just because we're going inside 50 doesn't mean we're going to score a goal. And I think reading between the lines is basically saying that some of our guys, seeing they're going in, they'll go, oh, sweet, I'll stop here and I'll watch and I'll ball watch for a bit rather than going, oh, it's going in. Where do I have to be in case it comes back out? And I think that's what needs to happen. And we do have a few players in our team and some of them had some pretty good games the weekend, but particularly off our half back line who they bloody love running forward. And we love to see them do it because it's a real party. But there are times when they might just get going, oh, look, there's the ball going. Oh, hold on, where's my man? Oh, he's 15 metres away. Oh, shit. And then they run off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that might just be a discipline thing with some guys that they need to get better at.
We need them to get better.
We need them to get better. We really do need them to get better.
Jake Kelly, I've actually got a theory to it.
Speak. I want to hear it.
Last few weeks, I've seen him pull out of a few contests.
Okay. Rare for him. He's usually one of the more hard-nosed players.
Exactly. So I've seen him pull out of I think it's around three or four contests over the last 3 games.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if this has to do with his concussion issues.
That's pretty fair.
It's very serious. It's a very serious thing.
And it rattled him. Like he was out for like a month there?
Yeah, well, he's had a fair few, I think. So he had a bad one in Adelaide where Dangerfield knocked him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's had some recurring concussion symptoms. And yeah, I don't even think he was concussed and then just had symptoms in the middle of the year and took 4 or 5 weeks off.
Well, I think he got a knock.
Oh, he did get a knock?
He got a knock and it was like a delayed reaction.
Yeah, and he's been pretty vocal about the impacts it's had on him. So I'm wondering if that's potentially, one of the issues he's experiencing at the moment. So
yeah,
I'm not too sure. I have no idea what's going on with him playing up the ground. I'm a bit confused by it. I'm not exactly even sure where he's playing.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how to comment on that.
Yeah. Like concussion thing, if that's the reason that he might not be playing to his best, then, I'm not going to sit here and pot him for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it is that serious, you shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be playing also. The playing up the ground thing, though, just doesn't make any sense to me. Clearly, they wanted to get Nick Cox into the back line, which made a lot more sense for Sydney because of the forwards that they had there.
Correct.
Didn't really matter so much in this game.
No.
And then they kind of moved it later in the game and Cox went kind of back up onto the wing. But, this is the thing. He doesn't have the with ball tricks to play up the ground. In theory, he could be a good pressure player in the forward line, but he's not going to kick you goals. So it's not there. His best position is a lockdown
defender.
And
it's just his style and the way he's built. So
and when we play against those teams, like a Collingwood who've got a bunch of small forwards or a Bulldogs with Waitman or something like that, great. Kelly's the perfect matchup because he can lock these guys down. He's good as that. But if he's not in the back 6 or back 7 with someone coming off the bench, I don't really see where he has a place in this team. And I am looking at this now and thinking about, you're talking about your future 6, and I had a similar.
You got your future 6?
Well, I had the same conversation. I think it was last Thursday with Merton, and I was saying that I see Laverty moving into the Kelly role where he plays on the mid to small guys.
100%.
You've got the two bigger blokes, BCT plus whoever else is the new person coming in. Ridley does Ridley's things, and then you've got your halfback guys there. And yeah, I think he might be getting squeezed out.
Yeah.
Because if they're not you don't trial someone in a random position without being like, oh, we don't really have a spot for you. It was the fear we had with Kyle in round one, because they're like, oh, we're going to play Kyle in the back line. It's like, why on earth are you going to do that? And if there's worries about your position, there's worries about your future. The same thing with Nick Cox when they're going, oh, we'll play here, we'll play here, we'll play here. Like you want to be betting something in.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. Yeah, I feel for Kelly. He must be the coach's pet because Brad's trying his best to keep him in that team. But yeah, I just don't see him playing any other position other than the back line at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. If he's in the back line, I'm happy to see him there. I know the attributes that he brings. I know his strengths. I know his weaknesses, but he just doesn't have a position up the ground. Doesn't work. Use someone else in that wing rotation, because you've obviously got Martin and Durham as the 1 and 2, and then you need to have someone else moving through that rotation, whether it's Cox or someone else. Like, I'd rather see Heppel on the wing than him.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Kelly just doesn't have those tricks in his game.
No.
It's not what he's good at.
No, that pace of the game isn't set for him.
Yeah. Get him in the back line, running through some little rat small forward of the team. That's what we want. I want him ripping heads off.
Some little dog rat.
Exactly. I want him knocking a Waitman down, knocking
Jamie Elliott
down. That's what I want to see him doing. That's what he's good at. So, yeah, I'm with you. I hope there isn't lingering concussions issues, because that's bad to think, and it's it's ruined a lot of lives and ruined careers and things like that, and it's it's bigger than footy. But if that's not the case, then I worry for his position. So
agreed.
Yeah, it is a tough one. I've spoken about the forward pressure already, haven't we?
Everything was bad.
Everything
was bad.
We just look slow, look tired.
How was Brian? Let's talk about Brian. Just a little bit of Brian.
Yeah, probably I wouldn't have thought he was as good as he was last week and the week before. Was it the Bulldogs game that he had a couple of shots? The Sydney game. They're all running into one.
Want him to play every game for the remainder of the year.
I'm with you on that.
We're not playing finals.
If Draper's not fit, there's no reason for him to...
We're not playing finals anyway.
Yeah.
Get him in.
Yeah.
He needs games.
Yeah, I agree.
And we need to show him that we're invested in his future.
His tap work is phenomenal. His tap work is great. I really like what he does there.
You're going phenomenal?
I think if you're talking for experience versus quality, if those are my metrics, I think that's where it's sitting. Like if he was a 30-year-old ruckman doing that, I'd be like, no, you need more. But age, experience, quality of output, his tap work, seriously good.
Nice.
Seriously good. Obviously, a lot to improvement around the ground.
Got a couple marks.
I like seeing what he's doing around the ground more. Being a bit more physical now is probably the next thing for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the other thing you want from a ruckman is, whilst you've got your matchup against the other guy, you need to throw your weight around a bit. And that's what Draper's very good at. And what we do miss is that sometimes you need your big bloke to just, push your small guy out of the way, lay a few blocks on, crunch a pack or two. That's the next evolution. That's what he's going to start doing.
If we could get a good combo of him and Draper going moving forward, that'd be nice.
Well, I think we all agree that Draper is a better forward than Andrew Phillips. I think that's a pretty reasonable statement.
Or
forward
until the ball's in his hand.
Yeah, like as a marking forward, Draper's
forward, Draper's better. But as a set shot, I'd have Phillips over Draper.
That's fair. So, if you're looking at the tandem for next year and beyond, because Phillips will probably go around again next year. Whether he goes on after that, I'm not quite sure. But you're looking at it.
He'll definitely go around, especially with Draper's injury concerns at the moment.
Yeah, and you're looking at a scenario where you might have Brian doing a lot of the tap work around the ground. Draper's obviously very good at that centre stoppage, but then Brian can maybe take over some other parts of the ground depending on the rotation.
Yeah,
and then Draper presents himself as that other marking option. We're talking about needing another option outside of Peter and Kyle. Is the second ruckman the solution?
Yeah,
to that? Because we've tried it. We've tried it
at the start of the year. It worked really well.
Yeah,
so maybe that is something that we're missing at the moment.
Because we haven't had that, although
we didn't have Peter at the start of the year.
Exactly, we didn't have Peter at the start of the year, but I feel like when Wiedemann was the number one forward,
Mm.
I guess you could say Kyle was always number one, but when it was Wiedemann and Kyle, I feel like we were more willing to look for those ruckmen. Maybe they were actually spending more time on the ground then. I haven't checked the numbers for time on ground for it. But it's just that, Peter is a vacuum. Peter is a vacuum and he just sucks the footy into him. And when he's not absolutely firing, it just means the ball's on the deck a lot around him. And unfortunately, our small forwards have been pretty lackluster.
He missed a few set shots on Saturday as well.
He did, which is rare for him.
Rare, but it's going to happen eventually, every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not in Mackay areas or anyone like that who
nowhere near
shanks the ball. Like
we're still going straight.
Exactly. He's still a very reliable forward, but I don't know. It just seems like we just aren't willing to look at the other options. And you just don't want to be a one-trick pony because
you get found out.
And you don't win premierships with one trick. You
don't win premierships with ponies.
No. You need horses and donkeys.
That's what you
need.
And
mules. You need a couple of mules.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we need Sean McKernan back.
we do need Sean McKernan back. Big horse. Love Shawnee. Great man. So yeah, that's just where this forward line is. I'll be interested to see small forwards. I'll be interested to see what we do in the next couple of weeks.
Well, we do have Jaden Davey.
Yeah.
Sitting in the
that's next season.
Yeah, I'm talking about next year.
Yeah, I'm talking about next couple of games. I'm talking about end of the season because
the season's done, mate.
I know. No,
I'm already thinking next year.
Yeah, no, but I'm just talking about like other guys who are there. Look, we'll get to Tex properly with Paul.
I was going to say Tex,
but 4 goals in the VFL, worth a look.
4 in the first half.
I know it'll be disappointing, but I would not be surprised if we see Menzie getting dropped after that game, which we love Menzie, but I feel like he might, and I feel like we'll see Snelling come back in. Guelphy, I think. I mean, if there was lots of options, I would take Guelphy out after that game.
Just after one game.
I mean, I don't think he's been that good overall.
I thought he was good previous week and the Doggies game, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm just being maybe there's a bit of recency bias in me, but we just got nothing out of them. We got absolutely nothing out of our small forwards. And when you can cop when it's one of them, but when it's both of them, and then like the half forwards who are basically our midfielders who are playing as half forwards, there was just no pressure.
No, I also don't know what to do with Cox. Maybe we'll save that for another time because I actually don't know what to say. I just want him to be good.
I actually didn't like. I was a bit harsh on him to begin with, but I actually don't mind him behind the ball.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind it.
Well, he hasn't played a lot of football, so it's always going to take time to get back into the gist of things. But
Well, Jesse made a good point. He said that he could see Cox taking the Heppel role when Heppel retires off half-back. A 200-centimetre half-back, which is an interesting one. But
it doesn't fit into my 6.
Doesn't fit in your 6? Doesn't have it in your 6?
No. And my backup to my 6 is...
What about your 7? Who's coming off the bench?
Zach Reid.
Oh, Zach Reid. Oh, who knows? Who knows with old Zach Reid?
Could be Reid, could be Hind, or it could be Massimo.
Like, he's clearly got skill. Like, we all know that. Like, there's clearly something in Cox there, but it's just where do you get the best out of him?
He needs to fill out more.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think he's too slow at times to play on the wing. But I actually I have warmed to him behind the ball. He has a little bit more time. He can be he uses it pretty well.
I'd still play him forward, to be honest.
You'd rather see him as the third forward option.
Yeah.
I guess it's the one place we really haven't seen him spend a lot of time, like leading at the ball, going for a mark.
He doesn't need to be that contested pack mark, though. I mean, Langford barely takes a contested pack mark. He just gets in the right positions.
Does a lot of one-on-ones.
Although, not that Cox would be great in a one-on-one either.
Yeah. He's an enigma. He is a unicorn. Yeah. Unfortunately, unicorns
don't know how to crack him.
It's very, very hard. It's very, very hard. Who else do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
I can hear people turning off as we speak.
Who else?
I thought Durham was right.
Yeah, it does been good.
He's had a good patch. Kick to goal. There was a few times where I just kind of felt like no one else was like kind of willing to do it, and Daz was like, "Come on, I'll do it if you won't."
He gets stuck in it. I think Redmond was really good.
Redmond was very good. Always like to see him kick goal.
Great goal.
Good rebounding work. It's just what you expect from him, to be honest. Always love a little Red Dog celebration. So
Caldwell, what was the go with Caldwell?
Managed is the prognosis, although someone said, I missed it, but apparently he had ice on something.
Calf hammy.
Yeah, maybe calf. I'm not quite sure, but they said it was managed.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't have a great game before he was taken out. Like, was pretty quiet. And yeah, definitely looked like he was kind of slowing down. Archie Perkins was very good.
Yep.
I thought I had him written down the goods, but I didn't. Marking, elite.
Yep.
That was some of the best marking I've seen from him.
5 marks.
Took a couple of shots on goal. Used it pretty well. Like, that's really what you want from him. And
yeah.
Man, I reckon...
Still want a little bit more accuracy up the field when he's kicking with his disposal. But
two contested marks for Archie Perkins, which is pretty good.
He's building. He's still building.
I reckon he's going to be unbelievable in a couple of years. I reckon he's just...
I hope so.
He just flirts with these moments where I'm like, gee, this kid's going to be something.
I need more consistency.
That's fair. And you're going to get...
What is he, year 3?
Year 3. So you're gonna get that with the young guys.
Definitely.
Same with Caldwell as well. Like, you're gonna get that with him. You're gonna get that with Hobbs. You're gonna get that with those blokes. So yeah, is what it is. Is what it is. Do you listen to some hot takes?
Hot takes. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. A language warning, of course, for everyone. I don't think we've sworn too much tonight, but we'll just chuck one in there. All right. First one's from Ethan.
So let me get this straight. We traded in Jay Kelly as a lockdown defender, and he's playing as a wingman or sometimes as a high half forwards. What the fuck? I mean, if he actually played right in those positions, fair enough. Go play him. But I'm sorry. He lacks zero offensive accountability. Don't even bother playing him there. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you're just pushing either a Durham or a Martin out of their best positions and just making our team more weak and more accountable in those positions. Like, it doesn't add up, seriously. But yeah, like, as harsh as it sounds, if there's no position on the team, like if there's no one to lock down on the opposition, then don't play him. It's simple as that. Like, Jesus. Like, bringing Kane Baldwin already. He had, 28 touches and 12 marks in the VFL, and we're still neglecting to bring him in for some reason. Like, Jesus. And also, if I don't see Tex getting in next week, we riot. Like, there's no way he's not getting in over Guelph, who did fuck all, Menzies, who did fuck all again today, and also Davey is the sub, who did absolute fuck all as well. So, yeah. Anyways, finals are still on. Cheers, boys.
Finals is still on.
Fair
bit of pain in Ethan's voice. I feel that frustration as well.
It's that's a 5 minutes after the game voice note. That's a hot one. You can feel that.
But seriously, he's right. If there's not a lockdown role for Jake Kelly, you're simply not playing this week.
Yeah.
You need to be fielding the best team possible for your opposition.
Correct. And if we do lose, let's say we lose this week, and we're
losing to North. Yeah. I can guarantee it.
Let's say we do, and then the last 2 games are actually proper dead rubbers. Like, throw caution in the wind and put someone else in the team.
Give me a game.
Yeah.
Get me in.
Or play Kelly at full forward.
I'd get 2 disposals.
If we're throwing caution to the wind that much, let's just chuck him there,
Get them all in.
Play the whole time. Next one. Next one's from Sean. Thank you, Sean.
Ooh. Oh, West Coast, you think you're going to come to Melbourne and just beat us? You think you can just beat Essendon in Melbourne, you think? Oh, you think you can just come in, we're going to let you win? Nah, we're the Bombers, mate. We're fucking good. We're real good. Oh, yeah, we are good. What was that? Yeah, that was the coffin. We're alive. Steve's still alive, baby. The planes.
Oh, Sean. I love a voice note that starts with a kid in the background making a noise.
Crying.
Yeah, crying because dad's probably
just punted the TV.
Yeah. That was good, Sean. There might be a knock in the coffin. Or it could be sealed. Felt pretty sealed for a good portion of that game, I will say. It felt very, Very sealed. Next one's from Stephen Wright. Thank you, Stephen.
Well, boys, all I can say is we're slightly less shit.
Thought that was Lurker for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Lurker. He's dropped off last few weeks.
So is Stephen Wright the original we're shit person?
No. That was someone called Enver Biss.
Okay.
Do you want to hear that again? Is that
Nah? I've got it like
burnt into your mind?
It's so good.
Yeah. All right.
This is a great name.
Yeah, this is a very long name. This is Blue Balls by Wolf Mother featuring Essendon theme song. Interesting name. Thank you, sir.
Hey boys, how's it going? I mean, I could whinge about just that diabolical game I just watched. I was there. I stopped watching in the third quarter and just started watching how angry this one guy was getting next to me. It was pretty funny. He was literally breathing through clenched teeth.
It was mad.
It was pretty comical, so I had a good laugh about that. I started laughing at all about our really bad shots right in front. I wasn't angry. It was like I was through all the stages of grief to just acceptance, or I was going insane. But I just want to just chat about how shit the transition from Wolf Mother to our theme song is. It's so shit. Just play the climax of that bloody 6 solo at the start, at least. Not just cut us straight away to fucking Bombers theme song. It's an absolute blue ball.
It's a good song.
I thought we were playing Jet the other week, but maybe
no, it's the dun dun dun
Joker
dun,
and the Thief, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
There's a lack of a crossfade there, I will say. There's lack of any kind of mixing going on. It's literally like,
can we get Mert down there to mix a couple?
Maybe we will. Yeah, we'll get him to do a Tiesto tribute set.
Definitely
for the pre-game. But yeah,
with a light show.
It's very like uni house party where you'd go there and there's just that bloke on the iPod just midway, like everyone's like, yeah, great song, and there's midway through the track just stops it to play the next song. That's the change.
Fades it with the volume.
Yeah, well, no, but there's no volume fade. This is literally just like stop next track. Like, no, guys, I swear this is really good. And everyone's like, bro, we were all dancing to that. What are you doing? So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Crossfade, please, Essendon. This one's from Frustrated Bomber. Thank you.
I slept on it. Still disappointed. First game I've actually seen in person this year. Thought we made inroads early on in the year. But clearly, being at the game, we're still a long way from it. The forward line is dysfunctional at the moment. There's no movement. The back line when we're coming out of the back line, they can't even hit the oval as they want to kick the oval. I love McGrath, but yesterday his disposal was terrible. Parish, well, every time he kicked it, you hear the whole crowd start to groan because he didn't know where it was going to go. Sometimes he can hit it, sometimes he can't. He just needs to tidy it up. I like the young blokes, but when you got boulders and even Wanganeen maybe in the twos, they need to be rewarded. And boss, it's time for change. Nothing's happening. Scott, I know you're loyal to the old blokes and loyal to your favourite 22, but for the last 6 weeks, your loyal players haven't showed up to play. You need to start making changes at the selection table. I don't care. There's still a mathematical chance to win, make the finals. I don't care. It's about next year. I don't want to make the finals this year. We'll get smashed. We don't have a finals-like team at the moment. So blood is a bit of youth. Find out what they're like in the last couple of games, and then if they show something, keep them around. But if not, delist them.
Frustrated.
Very frustrated. First game he's been to all year. What a fucking stitch up.
Yeah, and he was sitting on a tractor while he sent that through, which is interesting.
Working hard. Working a lot harder than you and I.
I don't work hard at all. But yeah, no, I get
a lot of good points there, especially on, Brad's giving games to people who aren't performing. They think that their spot is solidified in the team. No one's spot solidified. Go back to the Viffle.
Last one, Beck from Oz. Thank you, Beck.
So I don't know about you boys, but I don't think I've ever felt this flat after a win. I am absolutely feeling seriously deflated, and I'm wondering why exactly I'm feeling like this. And I'm also wondering a whole bunch of other stuff, like why Peter Wright can't mark inside our 50 and why Parish just keeps choosing to kick long bomb after long bomb to the opposition, and how on earth Flip could miss that freaking goal from literally within inside the goal square. I'm also wondering how anyone in their right mind could possibly pass over Langford for All-Australian this year. I'm wondering if Happel's going to go round for another season, because you know what? He pretty darn well deserves it right now. I'm wondering how BZT's feeling after taking that final mark with about 30 seconds to go, and I'm wondering how long it took poor little Tsatas to get all of that gross sticky Gatorade off his body once the team song was over. So you know what? There's a lot going on in my mind right now, but I know a win is a win. 4 points is 4 points, but I'm just feeling kind of deflated. I don't know, maybe I just have too high an expectation going into these sorts of matches. I mean, we're up by 30 points at one point, and then we win by just 1. That's absolutely crushing, especially against the freaking bottom team. But in good news, guys, your voices and your humour is always something that picks me up when the pod comes out here in the US on a Monday or Thursday morning. So I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for getting my week started off right.
There we go. Thank you, Beck. Thanks for tuning in.
Beck, I want to know why your audio comes through so clear. It's like she's in the studio.
Exactly.
She's got podcast gear.
It's definitely not on a tractor or with a screaming child or in any of the other places that people send them
and
through
sober.
from.
Definitely sober.
Definitely sober, which is rare for our fans, but we love that.
A lot of good thoughts there.
Plenty of good thoughts.
By Beck.
Plenty of good thoughts. I did enjoy seeing the Gatorade shower.
Gatorade shower.
Yeah.
It's good that it's Gatorade.
Yeah. What else was it going to be?
Well, it used to be Powerade, but
okay.
You know, Gatorade a sponsor.
Not a golden shower. Okay.
They're the sports drink of the AFL.
The sports drink of the AFL. Maybe some Red Bull. I don't know. Throw it in there. But yeah, good to see. It's been who would have the last one be? ADJ would have been the last one, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his first. Yeah, would have been like
round 1. Wouldn't it? Yeah.
There you go.
Trying to think. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone who sent those through. We absolutely love that. Now, Ryan, last game at Marvel for the year, North Melbourne. Where are you going to see it?
Medallion
Club. How are you going to get Medallion Club tickets?
Ticket Blaster.
Last chance, everyone. Premium level seating. They do have it for Marvel and the MCG as well. So the Collingwood game, which is a Friday night blockbuster.
Really good seats.
The best seats in the house.
Extra cushiony. I've said this before and I'll say it again. There's like an extra added layer.
There is an extra added layer.
Tickets.
There is an extra added layer. And at Medallion Club, high chance you'll see Paco walking around. High chance you'll see Sean McKernan or Scotty James have been there the last 2 weeks.
We did see Shawnee McKernan there.
Yeah, horses are always floating around.
Was he there this week as well? We'd have to ask the other boys.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good chance to spot some celebs. That's what you're into. And you get a great seat.
Great seat. So
Ticket Blaster is the place to get those tickets, whether it's this game or the one against the Pies at the MCG. I think it's time for a break, mate.
Let's do it.
Let's take a break. We'll be back with Paul Cousins for the VFL Wrap. Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the VFL Wrap with our great friend Paul Cousins. Hello, Paul.
Hello, boys. How are we on this chilly Monday evening?
I think we're all right. We've had about an hour of therapy. Slightly feeling better.
Yeah.
Just an hour.
Yeah.
The nightmares won't go away, but
No. Expect to live with them for a while.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think we've got used to it by now. So
I might have to get a therapist license because I reckon I could charge a few people who listen to this show for a bit of therapy. So
I reckon you could charge a few of your co-hosts as well.
Yeah, true.
Most definitely.
Definitely.
Maybe the occasional special guest doing the VFL run.
Yeah, exactly. I like the sound of that, Paul. Let's have a look at the VFL then. It was a late charge from Southport that saw the VFL Bombers go down by 8 points. How'd you see it, Paul?
It was a good game of footy. I was sort of wandering around. I didn't get to make the trip, unfortunately, but I was wandering around Marvel Stadium pre-game. bumping into people and things because I was watching it on my phone, as you do. And then managed to get home and watch a full replay. It was, look, we were right in it. As we sort of have been up there, it's a bit of a funny one, but no matter how we're going, we seem to go pretty well up there. We almost beat them with a team full of sort of top-ups from other clubs in the COVID era, and when they were going well, and then did beat them last year when they were on top, I think, up there. So, it's been a bit of a happy hunting ground for us up there, but unfortunately couldn't quite get the chockies on Saturday. But, the boys really put in a good show and was a very competitive game of footy and pretty good game of footy to watch.
Very competitive, Paul. And one of our youngsters, Tex Wangadine, had 4 goals in the first half. How was his game? Where exactly was he playing, and how was his pressure?
He had just an incredible purple patch, as you said, in the first half, where I'm pretty sure he kicked all 4 in a quarter, which you don't do too often. I think Langers did something similar in the AFL, about an hour later, but it's very rare that you see a bloke kick 4 in a quarter. But Tex had him sort of had the thing on a string for a 20-25 minute period there, and kicked some magnificent goals. He got a couple of nice ones sort of streaming back to goal, but a couple of really impressive sort of crumbs from contest situations, and was able to sort of burst through and finish really well. So he kicked the 4, as you said, he had them all by half time, but was still able to impact without the footy as well. And I think from memory ended up with about 15 touches, and certainly a pretty impressive performance. He was, as the goal tally would suggest, he was largely forwards for much of the day from what I could gather on the stream. But he certainly had a few nice moments in that first half, that's for sure.
We've had a fair few people send through requests for Tex to get a senior game for this upcoming weekend. Do you think that's something that he's ready to do, get back into senior football?
Yeah, why not? He's putting his hand up. He kicked 4 in the VFL and run the game out well. You've got as much chance as anyone, haven't you? There were times early in the season when he had a really interrupted pre-season, which meant that he's probably a fair way behind initially from a tank point of view, and from being able to sort of run out games and still really. The thing about that role is you have to be as intense in the last minute as you are in the first if you're playing that small forward role. That's what that role has become. It's become a real sort of almost hyperactive kind of role where you've just got to.
Not for me.
No, me either. I was very, very much the old steam engine, grind, rather than that high impact, high energy sort of stuff. That wasn't for me. But if the small forwards are in the side, that's a big part of that gig. You've got to be able to bring that intense heat for the entire game, and that probably held him back early in the season, as I said, based largely around sort of not really getting a pre-season. But he's put in a lot of work, spent some time through the midfield at VFL level, and has put together a pretty good body of work now. So I don't think those small forward spots in the AFL side are quite settled at the moment, as we've seen some sort of changes around them in the last few weeks. So, I think Tex continues to put his hand up. I think Waller continues to put his hand up. And, we know Alwyn went up a couple of weeks ago and is getting an opportunity at the moment as well. So, I think those spots are very much up for grabs, and kicking 4 in a quarter of footy will put his name in front of the selectors, that's for sure.
Definitely. Will Setterfield returned to some competitive football for first time in a while. It's been a pretty considerable layoff now after an innocuous injury. How is his return to footy?
Yeah, I thought he played well. It wasn't a highlight game, probably for Setters. From there weren't sort of big standout moments, maybe like there were in Texas game. It was a bit more of my style of the grind. But I thought he worked into the game really well. he hasn't played footy for a long time. Like it, what was thought was going to be probably a bit shorter than it was has ended up a really long layoff. So there was probably an element of just picking up the pace of the game again and working his way into it fitness-wise. But, I thought he worked into it really well and ended up having a really good, solid day with sort of about 20 touches and a couple of clearances and some good sort of strong work around the contest. So he'll be, the old cliche, but he'll certainly be better for the run after a long layoff. And that's a position which is, probably almost the opposite of Texas in some ways, what we were just talking about. But you've got to be able to sort of chug all day in that position. You've got to be able to really grind it out. And, so that long layoff is difficult coming straight back into that sort of big body inside mid role. But I thought he performed it well. And as I said, will definitely be good for the run going forward.
What sort of game time did he have?
I think he played the majority of the game. Yeah, it's difficult when you're not there, and I haven't spoken to the coaches as yet. Yep. I thought I'd give him a day or two off, but before I start hassling him. But from what I could gather, he was still on the ground at the end of the game. Let's put it that way. So he will have. I imagine there will have been a restriction on him from a distance point of view, but I'm not sure what it was exactly and how that played out with the time on ground.
Paul, I'm just wondering if that brown paper bag full of money I gave you last week ended up in Harley Reid's possession.
We can't even. If I ever joke about that, I get into shit.
Dead set. Okay. Let me start that again.
No.
Paul, how did you find Harley Reid's game?
I thought he looked just okay. No, he looked unbelievable. Like unbelievable. It was.
Have any of the players sort of had any? Have they sort of said anything about how he was on the field or what he is or how he is as a person?
No, I think he really integrated into the group. So he was with us for a period over summer, over the pre-season with the AFL Academy placement, I think it was. So he spent some time in the club over the pre-season, and I think really integrated into the club very well. I think that was part of the motivation to sort of get him back and play some VFL footy because he really had integrated into the joint well and got on well with people and I think, liked his surroundings. So to get him back in and see that sort of up close was pretty impressive. He's ended up with sort of high 20s against a very strong, mature age midfield group from Southport. And big, strong bodies and took an absolute hanger and found a heap of it, used it well, got knocked over a dozen times and bounced up every single time and looked every bit of pick one, to be honest. So it's going to take something special for him not to be.
We're going to turn on him quickly, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to hate him very shortly.
Yeah. So let's not. You're not recording this, eh?
I just want to
because I could see him tearing us up for someone else next year, and you blokes playing this back to me. But he was superb and looks. I don't know him. I haven't met him as yet, but he looks extremely mature, and that's sort of the feedback that I've heard that he's really got his head on his shoulders and certainly wasn't overawed stepping into the best sort of state level competition of footy in the country. It's a big step up to go straight from TAC and local footy or TAC, whatever it is now, and local footy into the VFL, and particularly, as I said, against a team like Southport who are standalone with big mature bodies through their midfield and that's a big step. And he, if he wasn't the best player on the field, he was in the best view and certainly looked like, well, I was going to say looked like he belonged, but truthfully probably looked like he belonged at a level up already.
Wow,
it's crazy.
Yeah, Paddy Voss, though, Paul, had a good day on the score sheet with 3 goals and a couple of behinds. How have you seen his recent form?
Yeah, I think it's sort of been a bit of a tricky middle period of the year for Paddy. not because of the way he's not because he's played badly, just for whatever reason, we just haven't sort of been able to get him on the score sheet as much as he was early in the year, even though he's still doing a lot right. And has still had some really strong games in that period. Like probably, one of his best games was a couple of weeks ago where I think I'm not sure if he kicked a goal at all for the day, which is unusual to say that about a key forward who's played really well and not hit the scoreboard. But it was good to see him get some reward on the weekend because I feel like he has still been working really hard and, he's still really keen to improve and develop, and the coaches are working hard with him. And he's putting in all that work. It's really nice to see him get a bit of reward, kick a couple of snags and get to, give some massive high fives and a bit of a strut, which he's a fan of. And that's always good when Paddy gets on the score sheet. He's good for the boys around him, tends to puff them up a bit. So
I feel like we're missing that in the seniors.
Yeah, it's you need some of that. You really do. Like I know,
bit of party.
We make a bit of we make a bit of a gag out of it at times, but you need a bit of attitude and a bit of swagger and you need that in footy. It's a confidence game, and it's sort of it's without sort of getting too deep on it. It's gladiatorial, like it's you're going at people, and you've got to have a bit of that strut about you, at least in some guys. And you can't have 18 of them, or you disappear into your own shadow. But you've got to have some guys with a bit of that sort of strut and a bit of get up and go about them in the character stakes, and he's got that, And so when he hits the scoreboard, particularly when he can hit the scoreboard early in the game, he gets up and about, and he gets the blokes around him up and about, and it can become contagious. And I reckon that happened a bit on the weekend. I feel like we were able to sort of hit the scoreboard through Paddy and Tex obviously early, and that was we were able to get a little bit of swagger and a little bit of confidence and really take it up to a good side on their home deck. So it was a long way of saying that it was great to see Paddy kick some goals and feel good about himself without, even though he's been playing well, it's great to see him get a little bit of that sort of reward for it.
Good to hear, Paul. Now, it is another bye next weekend. I've got a general VFL question for you. Do you think the VFL needs another team in the league or potentially lose a team from the league? Because we've got 20.
Let's be clear that the buys absolutely suck.
It's almost like a bye every 4 rounds or something.
No, I can't handle it, mate. They kill me, honestly. You just get rolling. And we've had 2 buys in 5 weeks or 4 weeks. It kills me. Can't handle it. So my answer to your question is the strongest possible terms is yes.
So,
need to,
but are we adding or losing a team? That was the question, Paul. Are we going to cull a team or add one?
Are we adding a team or getting rid of the Northern Blues?
Part of there's good people out there. Don't do that, they'll kill me. Part of they're not the Northern Blues anyway. They'll kill you. They're the Bull Ants.
They are the Bull Ants now. That's my local.
I consider the Bull Ants Bulleen. So,
part of the issue is that they're on a bit of a hiding to nothing in some ways, the AFL, because they try to match up the AFL and VFL aligned teams for buys, right? So you have your regular old buys because you've got an uneven number of teams, but then you also have buys in the middle of the year so that the entire club gets a week off. Because if obviously if your VFL program plays when your AFL program's got a bye, then all the AFL listed guys aren't actually getting the mandated bye.
Correct.
In the middle of the season. So you have this tricky situation where they're fitting in a couple of buys anyway, and then you get sort of one whacked in the middle of the season as well, and it's a very difficult sort of draw for them to do. I think to maintain, to keep the AFL clubs happy with, while also sort of providing for those standalone clubs. So, but there needs to be, in my view, then there needs to be a better solution than with 5 weeks to go in the season, us having 2 buys in that 5 weeks.
Definitely.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, we're not obviously going to play finals at this point now, but if you were, you'd be furious.
Yeah.
If you were going into a final series on the back of playing 2 games in 4 weeks or something, like you'd be flat. So I don't know what the solution is. Smarter people than me have to do those things, but 1 or 2 buys a season is fine. I mean, I hate them anyway. But a lot of people sort of are desperate for the buy, and players want it and all that. So I get why we've got to have them. But and obviously the uneven number of teams adds that sort of bit of complication as well. But we're sort of in a situation now where we're playing in a 21-team comp, and we're actually not playing all the teams in the comp. You know, so because we have all our buys and we have all our, so it ends up a 18-game season or whatever it is with 21 teams.
It's ridiculous.
Which is not ideal. So I'm not sure what the solution is, but there needs to be a better one than the one we're rolling with at the moment.
Oh, we'll start the agenda right now, Paul, on this show. We'll get the movement going. They'll be picketing in the streets by next week, so don't worry.
Definitely.
Hopefully I don't get in trouble for all that, but I can't be the only one that feels that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's an odd number team competition. Like it's make it 20 or make it 22. It's one or the other.
Paul, we don't want to spend time with our families over the weekends either.
Yeah.
So.
No, we don't. No, but even the odd number thing is like, I'm not sure you need sort of 4 buys for the season because you've got an odd number of teams when there's 21 and only 18 rounds.
Very silly. It's very silly.
It sort of seems. I don't know. Anyway, others can worry about that. I just sort of stand on the sidelines and whinge when we have a bye every second week.
Yep, exactly. Paul, we'll have you back on in a couple of weeks to wrap up the season after the final game. But thank you very much for your time, and we'll speak to you then.
My pleasure. Hey, I wanted to give a shout out. I do this occasionally. I come in with a late shout out.
Yeah.
I've got a late shout out this week for the legend sitting in front of me at Marvel on Saturday in the game that you guys have been putting yourselves for a couple of hours of therapy after. There was a couple of youngish blokes sort of sitting in front of me, enjoying the footy, and after the game, one of them came up to me and said, "Oh, are you Paul Cousins? I listen to you on the Sash every week, and I recognise your voice because he hears it on the Sash." And I thought, so what did I say during the game? Hopefully nothing too bad. But anyway, shout out to that legend, and I'll see you back at Marvel next season.
Love that.
Beautiful. Love that, Paul. Brilliant as always, and we'll see you next time.
No worries, boys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Paul. There we go, mate.
Cheeky little shout out there by Paul.
Love that.
We love that.
Love that. Love a shout out on the pod.
Would love to know what he was yelling about.
Who knows? Probably just go Plains. Just go Plains. Go Dons. Kick it long.
Yelling at Mert.
Yeah, probably yelling at Mert.
Just booing.
Booing Mert. Booing Mert.
A few good things there. I'd love to see Voss just get a game before the end of the year.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be like, and you know, I know we don't want to have a negative mindset. You don't want to lose, but there is part of me that's like, well, yes, if we do lose a game and then we have 1 or 2 dead rubbers, depending on which result happens in the next couple of weeks, the benefit of a dead rubber is you can just tell a couple of old blokes, you're done for the year, mate.
Pack it in. Like
Pack
Paco. Paco?
Well, he's already done.
He's done.
He's done. Drape's done. Shield's done. They're not coming back. A couple of blokes go, get the ice out, chill, Vossi, Cane Train,
get him in.
Tex, have a game. Nothing to lose, you know?
Wiedemann?
Probably not.
You answered that already.
I mean, look. I mean, you play Weed if you're putting Peter on ice, but
Rhett Montgomery.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Rhett.
Get them all in.
Just get them all in. Just get everyone in. Just get everyone in the team all at once, all the time. That's what we want. Listeners, if you want to listen to Thursday's podcast, you can sign up to become a premium Sash member. You can find the link in our show description or on our website or any of the social media. You can find the link there. $4.99 a month or $42 for the whole year.
Bargain.
You get an extra show every week during the season, plus some additional content in the off season as well. When things dry up, you can also get on the premium Discord, which is always humming. It's always humming. Daily Dons. It's constantly going. It's Kingo's dream came true. Daily Dons. Just every day, something new in there.
Loves it.
Love it. Plenty going on. The game day thread gets pretty raucous on game day, I must say. You can enjoy the GIF that I posted after the game at 4:25, which I think was very apt. You'll have to go on there to find out. You'll have to go on there to look at the GIF. I think it's pretty appropriate to what it is. It's a clip from a movie, a classic. It's from Team America. That's all I'll say. It's a clip. The GIF is from Team America.
Movie.
That's all I'll say. So that's from Team America. But thank you to everyone who's on there. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Derek who's over there pushing the buttons.
Thanks, Derek.
We'll be back Thursday to preview the North game, and then we're on the home straight now. I mean, unless you stumble into finals, but looks like we're on the home straight for the season. And then,
unfortunately,
you know what I'm actually really keen for? If we are wrapping up after round 24 or round 23, whatever it is, following Monday, do you reckon I'll get in?
To where?
Here. Do you reckon I'll get in?
No.
Mr. Phantom Draft God himself, I reckon. We'll just go straight into it. Cal, in. Who are we picking? What's going on? Trades, talk to us.
Get him in.
We'll just get him straight in.
Yeah.
I reckon we'll get him in. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Go Dons.
Go Dons.